Hello everyone, welcome to my vlog. So today is Tuesday morning and of course it's a time for another vlog. So today's vlog I would like to dedicate it and talk a little bit about corporate headshots. This is something which in my case is a huge business because I live in the city where unfortunately I wish the movie industry would be much bigger and I could have access to do more actor headshots or model headshots and stuff like that. But Calgary, where I live, is mainly business and a corporation, so this is something which I actually got heavily involved and I would say mostly of my business is corporate stuff. So in this vlog I would like to share with you guys some of my experiences and I would like to give you some tips and advice and share with you guys information which hopefully will help you whenever you're going to get a request for corporate headshots. It's entirely different process to dealing with businesses and corporation when it comes to dealing with, let's say, individuals who come to you and they want to do a headshot session. Like, you have to go through completely different process in order to deal with corporations or some big businesses who are requiring to do headshot sessions for their employees. So this is something which I think it's important, and I've learned some of those stuff hard way. So I want to share with you guys some of those stuff, and hopefully for the next photo shoot or some next upcoming headshot session with some big business or some corporation, that's going to help you to avoid some of those mistakes I've done, and that maybe help you to basically grow your business in this particular industry. So number one tip, this is the communication. I learned that businesses or corporation, they kind of have expectation that the communication between you and the business is going to be flawless. So let's say I have received an email from business or corporation, so I'm trying to respond to them fairly quick. Like, you don't want to wait weeks or months or even days. I found that 24 hours is the maximum time you want to respond to them, because if you don't, I don't want to say most of the time, but sometimes they're going to just move on and they're going to try to find someone else. And then also it's going to show them that if you don't respond fairly quick, that they simply don't want to work with you, because if you don't communicate properly, they actually assuming there might be some issues along the way. So and we're also living in an era where we have access to phones and then we fairly well connected nowadays, so to even send quick response, it's something which it's not a big of a deal. Another tip what I would like to give it to you, and this is something what I've learned hard way. So whenever I receive a phone call and I don't know the number, I usually don't pick up the phone, especially whenever I'm with my family or I'm on the shoot or a place where I can't really talk. I've had situations where some business owner phoned me for corporate headshots, and what happened was my kid was didn't have a good day, and he was like losing his mind, and was screaming and crying, and I was trying to kind of calm her down and then talk to the guy, and that didn't make good impression. So the guy never called me back, and I'm not sure if that was part of the deal, but I've learned that, what, if you want to talk to some corporations or some businesses, you want to talk to them when you are available, you are in the place where you can clearly talk to them and pretty much do the business. Because if they're gonna hear there's just some screaming kid on the back, or there's some noise, or you cannot properly hear each other, sometimes they're okay, they're gonna say, well, we'll call you back, or you can call us back. But I found whenever I have this kind of situations, I'm trying to kind of don't make the first bad impression, like you're trying to make a good impression. So the next thing what I would like to suggest, so whenever you, let's say, get some inquiry for the headshot session, I would definitely recommend to do a meeting, because that's going to also show you on your end what you can expect. What kind of business is this? How they treat people, like, even during the meeting. There's a lot of things which you can actually pick up throughout those meetings. And, if it's impossible, that's fine. But if there is a possibility and they say, well, look, sure, we would like to sit down with you and then talk about that project, then definitely do that, because that always helps. And I've been into situations where I met with them and I've seen like what's going on, and I just pretty much ditched the project because I knew it's going to be some issues. So it's good to kind of have that I would say opportunity, or try to set it up something like a meeting where you can actually just sit down face to face and talk to them, if they have, of course, time, because some of them, they're going to say no, they're going to go straight to the project. Okay, so the next one is extremely important, and this is, I would say, one of the most important things what I want to say, and that's going to be the main message of this vlog. So whenever you actually gonna get the business, make sure you have proper contract. Most of the issues what I've seen on social media, where people complain about corporate headshots, or some I don't know, problems dealing with the clients, with the corporate world, is the either lack of contract or something which basically what I want to say is that even if you go to the meeting and you're going to tell them exactly what you're going to do, week from that moment, people are not going to remember this. And that's something which you have to kind of put in your mind, that whatever you have on the paper is on the paper. So people kind of know that what they can expect from you, what the plan is, and like all the details which are extremely important. So nobody's gonna kind of get to the point where they're gonna say like, look, we didn't know you said 3 images per person. Like I don't remember you were saying this. But then when you have this in the contract, then it's a completely different story, because you can show them, look, this is what we agreed to, and this is the deal. Like, you have to and usually when you have, as I said, stuff written down, then it's much easier to avoid all those problems and conflicts and misunderstanding, and like, oh, you've said this, I've said that, and like, I didn't hear what you said. All this stuff gonna kind of go away, because you're gonna have everything on a paper. And also, if you, let's say, there's a lot of stuff online you can find some proper contract, but the worst case scenario, and if, let's say, you don't have access to contracts, is even writing down an email with everything what you're planning to do, what you guys agreed to. That's something, having stuff on the paper or on the email, whatever, that always kind of helps. So if you're planning to do any corporate headshots, make sure you have everything written down, because that's gonna definitely helps you to avoid all those problems with some of those big companies. I've learned that on so many levels. I could tell you so many different stories, and nowadays I don't even, I would say, click a button till I have signed contract with the company or with the business, that we both know exactly what's going on, and that definitely will help you to, as I said, to have any potential conflicts and problems and issues, and then fighting back and forth with some of those businesses. Okay, so the next one is planning the shoot. This is something which another extremely important thing. Make sure you're ready and you know exactly what you're gonna do, what the plan is, the timeline, the schedule, everything. Make sure you either have on the paper, and then you actually going to the place, and you gonna just execute step by step everything. The worst thing what can happen, and also I've learned that hard way, when you're gonna go to the place and for example, like, oh, you don't know where you're shooting, you try to figure things out on the shoot. Let's say you're lack of some of the equipment, or the batteries are out, or the list goes on and on and on. So I'm actually really control freak, and I don't know it's a good thing or bad thing, but whenever I go for especially those corporate stuff, I'm fully prepared for any circumstances. I'm prepared for any situation. I have backup after backup, and I know to the minute what I'm gonna be doing. So let's say we have 10 people and everyone has 15 minutes to do the shoot. I know exactly what's gonna happen. So make sure you're fully prepared. You don't want to kind of be seen as someone who is unprofessional and don't know what you're doing and stuff like that. So the preparation is important, and then also you're going to learn throughout the process. Like, let's say you have 20 people, and how much time you want to spend with each person and stuff like that. So be prepared as much as possible, but also make notes after every photo shoot, how you can improve your next corporate shoot, what your experience is telling you, what things could go better, or what things you can improve, or you can adjust, and then do a lot of other things which make the photo shoot go smoother and then nicer, and everything's gonna works a little bit better. Another thing what I want to say, so this is the next tip, is make sure you communicate with the company, and also give them a little bit of tips on and advice on wardrobe. I found, like, I know some people are gonna laugh right now, but trust me, I've been in these companies where people were coming to the shoots like they were going on vacation, or they were wearing some really bizarre things which just didn't kind of work. So make sure you educate the companies and you educate people, and they know what they have to prepare, what they have to wear. Give them some options, give them some tips, give them some advice. That definitely helps you, because another thing, you don't want to have situation where you do the shoot and then the person who is in charge is gonna like, oh, you know what, Johnny was wearing this palm tree shirt, and that doesn't look professional, but he just likes them and he wears them. So make sure like they also gonna be doing some preparation, and they're gonna provide you with everything what you need to create good shots. Okay, so the next thing is the shoot itself. So what I would advise, the first one, and also maybe some people are gonna laugh, but be on time. This is something which drives me absolutely nuts, and I know there's a lot of businesses that they all photographers who don't kind of respect, they're always late and stuff like that. I'm trying to be at least half an hour before the shoot, even if the client is not there and I have to wait for them. That's something what is one of my priorities, to be sure that I'm on time, because that's actually showing also to the people that you're respecting them and you're respecting their time. Sometimes they might not be the way you are, but at least I would say I know I did the right thing and I was on time, and I'm doing this the proper way. So being on time, especially when you have to drive somewhere, or let's say you are shooting in downtown area where it's busy, where it's traffic, where you need to find parking lot or something like that, which you might predict that might take you a little bit of time. So make sure that you plan everything ahead, and then being on time is extremely important, especially with people who are also really busy, because those corporate people, the time is the money, right, as they always say. So being on time, it's extremely important. Okay, so the next tip is I want to talk a little bit about the shoot itself and being professional on the shoot. So First one, wear something which is professional. Don't wear, t-shirts or, things like, I don't know, short pants and stuff like that. Just make sure you actually showing them that you are professional. And I know maybe some people again gonna laugh at this, but I've seen some photographers shooting corporate stuff, wearing things which I was like, wow, you know what, you're not. This is not good, and this is not showing any respect. And maybe because I don't know, I'm originally from Poland, and clothing and all this stuff is extremely important over there, and that's also showing respect to other people. Like, I don't know, this is just the kind of my approach. The next little thing is being professional is and this is something extremely important when it comes to the corporate headshots. What I found, these people don't want to be there, and what is funny, they want to be in and they want to be out. You, on the other hand, like, you want to shoot and you want to work with them, but like most of the time they don't want to be there. So you have to work fairly quick. You have to try to find some kind of connection with these people, and then like, you want to interact with them right away, and you want to make sure that you get the shots. And most of the time, as I said, they don't have much time, so you have to work not only fairly quick, you have to connect with them fairly quick. The one tip, what I want to say, I always try to talk to them about vacations. I don't know why, but this I found people always try to, I don't know, I always found that these people always kind of react really positively about vacation. And even if, let's say, you talk about like, okay, so what's your next vacation, where are you going? And it's like, okay, you know what, I don't have anything planned, but I was, let's say, 6 months ago in whatever, like in Mexico, or I was on some, I don't know, island, whatever. But I always found that this is something which always kind of like triggers something positive, and then you can just kind of navigate to something different. But it's a good start, I found, and that's always put these people in some kind of good mood, and they always turn happy. I don't know, we all love vacations, right? So that's something which always I don't know, turns you on some kind of positive mood. Plus, you can take their mind off I don't know, the business, or the stuff what they do, and put them in some kind of really I don't know, just kind of different mood, as I said. Okay, so the last one, and that's going to be the most interesting one, and I left this as a like something very, very, very at the very, very end, is the payment. And this is something what a lot of people struggle big time. And you know what, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not the exception. I always had some, well, not these days, but back in the days I always had issues with that. And I'll tell you a few reasons. First of all, the main reason with the payments, the problems when it comes to the payments, is that you have to be clear at front with them. Don't ever say like, oh, you know what, we'll figure it out, we'll do the shoot, and then we'll try to figure out how this whole thing is going to kind of go down. No. The thing what you want to do is, like, when you know that this contract is done deal, and at the very, very last thing, you guys have to discuss how this whole thing gonna go when it comes to the payment. So I learned that, first of all, you want to make sure that you get paid. The last moment is when you actually, on the day of the shoot. You don't want to actually also tell them, well, we'll figure out later, because let's say this company has policy that they pay 3 months, like after the shoot, and then you're gonna like, oh my god, like, I didn't know that. So you want to make sure also you put this in the contract, but also you want to make sure that you discuss this with the person who is in charge. So let's say you guys talking about all the planning, and then at the end you basically talk about, okay, so now let's talk about how you guys gonna pay for this. So I always require 50% deposit, and then before I release any images, then they have to finalize the payment, or they can pay basically on the day on the shoot. So depends on the company. If there's a new company or I never worked with them before, I'm more strict. If let's say I've done several different projects with them, then it's a completely different story when I know they always pay on time and there's no issues. But that doesn't mean those issues might not come, and then like this whole thing might change. But you have to be very, very strict about those things, because the worst thing what can happen, and I've been there many, many times, was that you do the job, you released everything, and then you have to ask these people for your own money. Usually what they always say, like, oh, we submit your invoice and there's some Johnny from accounting who actually is on vacation and we'll get back to you when he's back, and stuff like that. So there's excuse after excuse, and that also feel kind of awkward. And I found this many times that I had to talk to someone, and you've done the work, you've done the best you could, they were happy with the final outcome, and then you actually on their mercy to paying you. So that's something which sometimes is frustrating and is extremely you don't know how to deal with this, because your emotions actually just kind of like ripping you apart, and you're angry, and then sometimes you might say something stupid and then basically burn the bridge with the company, because they're gonna look at you like, okay, what this guy's problem is, that he's just like emailing and calling us every single day and stuff like that. So it's better to have those things figured out before they know what's going on. And also, like, even if you agree with them to, let's say, make them pay you when everything is done. So usually when I send, let's say, images for the review, I always try to protect myself as much as possible, and I highly recommend it to do this, because sometimes it's a little bit laziness on our side, and let's say we release images and we just like don't put watermarks on them, and then people like take advantage of this, and like make sure you protect yourself all the time. And especially when it comes to, as I said, payments, this is something extremely important. You don't want to waste your time to deal with those companies, because they extremely busy, and usually and unfortunately, when it comes to those kind of really awkward situation, you're going to be the last person they're going to be worried about, because they have million things on the go. They have, let's say, I don't want to say like millions, but hundreds of different invoices. And by the time they're going to reach to you, it might take even more time. So make sure that sometimes you have to be also firm about those things. So let's say the company's like, oh no, no, we will do it our way, or let's say we'll figure something out. No, there's no such a thing with the way I deal with those companies. I want to make sure they know exactly what's going on. They know the rules, and like I'm gonna be professional, polite, but at the same time I want to make sure that I'm not going to bend my rules. So those companies can kind of, I don't want to say they're going to take advantage of me, but then I have to be in the situation that I have to kind of go after them and beg them to basically make the payment for my work. So basically that's pretty much most of the stuff. I know there's few more things, but like I'm already talking for about 20 minutes, so I'm not going to bore you even more. I hope that was interesting. I definitely would like to hear your feedback. So if you guys have any additional things to this and I would like to add something, then please feel free to put the comment down below. And yeah, let's chat a little bit more about it. I know people have different experiences, and people went through a lot of different situations. So anything which could help me, that would be also kind of cool. So wishing you guys fantastic week. I will chat with you guys in the next couple days. I have some interesting photo shoot coming up, so I will be doing some behind the scenes stuff. And meanwhile, have a fantastic photo shoot, and I'll chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.